Appearance. Alarm indicator. Display screen. Power switch. Alarm mute. Power indicators. Knob. Abdominal sensor interface. SpO2 interface. Pressure sampling port. Inspiration port. CO2 interface. AC power socket. Oxygen sensor. Oxygen inlet. Air inlet. Accessories connection. Respiration circuit arm installation. Water bag support installation. Gas source connection. CO2 module connection.
Push the machine to the appropriate position of the infant incubator or radiation stage and adjust the angle of the instrument in order to make the observation and operation more convenient. Connect the oxygen and air supply hoses at the back of the instrument respectively to the oxygen or air interface at the central gas supply equipment belt or on the pendant. If the instrument is equipped with an air compressor, you shall connect air hose to the air compressor. Connecting the main machine, heater, humidifier, and air compressor to power supply. Open the prepare breathing circuits. Install the humidification pot on the humidifier and pay attention that the port interface shall be parallel placed. Connect a short breathing tube between the INSP and the humidification pot. Insert one side of a long breathing tube into the humidification port that is close to the temperature probe and the other side fixed on the arm of the breathing pipe. Connect heater wire. Connect MR850 humidifier flow temperature probe. First connect proximal probe and then connect distal probe. For MR810, only heater wire need to be connected. Connect pressure sampling tube to the prox pressure sampling port on the front board. Open the pack of the reusable breathing tube. Connect the joints on both ends of the 60 cm tube. Thrust the drag hook of the heater wire into the tube. Pull the heater wire through the tube and connect the joints. Connect the temperature probe. Connect the heater wire adapter. Connect 13 cm extended breathing tube. Connect adapter. Connect the joints to both ends of the pressure tube. Use a short tube to connect the INSP interface and the short interface of the humidification pot. Connect a long breathing tube on the high interface of the humidification pot. Connect the temperature probe. Connect the heater wire. Connect the pressure tube on probe's interface. Connect the pressure generator. Connect the high-flow oxygen therapy tube. There are two kinds of humidification pots. One is able to add water automatically and the other one is manually. Automatic water adding humidifier. Hand the sterilization water bottle on the water bag bracket. Connect the automatic water tube to the bottle. Open the pressure port of the tube and check whether the water is flowing along the circuits. Manually water adding humidifier. Inject sterilization water into the humidifier and pay attention not past the maximum water level marked on the pot. Press the switch for 3 seconds to turn on the humidifier. Turn on VADI humidifier. After 5 seconds, the humidifier will be locked automatically with a key indicator being shut off. Press the lock icon for 5 seconds. You will be able to adjust the parameters after the keys are unlocked. When using the humidifier for the first time, you should choose servo control mode, where the temperature is set to 39 degrees at Y side and -2 gear at the heating plate. The heating plate is increased to 37 degrees. Heating tube increased 2 degrees. Temperature at Y end is 39 degrees. So the temperature at the patient's is also 37 degrees as 2 degrees had been reduced without heater wire. 5 seconds after the setting, humidifier will be locked automatically. Press the lock icon for 5 seconds to unlock the key. Press the power off button for 3 seconds to turn off the machine. Connect to the patient. Fasten the pipeline. Fasten the breathing pipeline on the infant incubator and the radiation stage smoothly. Connect abdominal respiratory sensor. Operation principle. According to neonate abdominal breathing characteristics, the machine is able to measure patients' respiration through monitoring their abdominal breathing up and down station. Connect the abdominal breathing sensor to the breathing box. Cross the breathing sensor through the infant incubator. Place the breathing sensor at the left side or right side of the neonatal belly. You can choose the location according to the neonate's breathing situation. Paste the breathing sensor on the surface of the skin by a surgical tape. Pay attention that the tape shall paste at the middle of the sensor airbag. Human-machine interface linkage, including pressure mode and HFNC mode. Pressure mode. 3 ventilation modes: NCPAP, NIPPV, SNIPPV connect with patients by pressure generator. Medijet pressure generator. Paste an algal plug, artificial skin, on the nose of the neonate to relieve nasal extrusion. Choose suitable nasal congestion and hat. Put the hat on the neonatal head. Pay attention that it doesn't cover their eyes. Install the nasal mask and nasal congestion on pressure generator with the arc side outwards and connect the fixing band. Fasten the pressure generator on the head. Pay attention that it shall be fixed close to the head and make sure it can be steadily held by the generator. Install the nasal congestion and nasal mask on the nose. Pay attention to adjust the angle of the generator and make the patients feel comfortable. Then paste triangle-shaped fixing band on the head. Connect the breathing pipe and pressure sampling tube. It is better for you to connect the circuits after generator is fixed. Under clinical practice, perform nasal care for the neonates once every 2 to 3 hours. Infant flow pressure generator. Paste an alga plug, artificial skin on the nose of the neonate to relieve nasal extrusion. True suitable nasal congestion and hat. Put the hat on the neonatal head and pay attention that it doesn't cover their eyes. Install the nasal mask and nasal congestion on pressure generator. Fasten the pressure generator on the head. Install the nasal congestion and nasal mask on their nose. Install the pressure generator on the head. Pay attention to adjust the angle of the generator and make the patients feel comfortable. Connect the breathing pipe and pressure sampling tube. It is better for you to connect the circuits after generator is fixed. Under clinical practice, perform nasal care for the neonates once every 2 to 3 hours. HFNC mode. Connect the patients by a high-flow nasal oxygen tube in oxygen therapy ventilation mode. Choose a suitable oxygen tube according to nasal characteristics. Pay attention that the nasal tube should be smaller than their nostril. Connect the neonates with the tube. Pay attention that the curved side face down. Use the joint to connect the breathing pipe.
Operation. Patient information. Alarm information. The upper and lower limits of alarm parameters can be adjusted. Recent alarm information. Alarm sound volume. See O2 alarm setting. SpO2 alarm setting. Fresh gas flow section. Ventilation monitoring parameter display section. Large front. History data. Trend table. The trend chart uses a curve to describe the change trend of the parameter values at specific point in time. It can save up to 120 continuous operation hours historical data for each of such parameters as oxygen concentration, CPAP and PEEP at a resolution of 5s. Setting. It record ventilation mode settings and parameter settings. Event log. Screenshot. The system can store up to 50 images. Freeze function. It can review patient data for the first 2 minutes before freezing. Manual ventilation. Locking screen. Pressure generator type. Menu. Pressure zeroing and oxygen calibration. Setting. Set up the pressure generator type and ventilation parameters. Set up oxygen sensor monitoring. Set up CO2 monitoring. Set up SpO2 monitoring. Brightness and volume setting. Screen setting. Select the corresponding icon to set the number of displayed waveforms and waveform drawing type. Set the display color parameters. System self-check. The interface displays the self-test results of the corresponding item. User maintenance. Password is 5188. Factory maintenance, the password is 6699.